Hi, thanks for joining me today. Please like and subscribe. Hello, how are you? We're back with another video. Now, I want to talk to you just quickly before we start our video, which I believe is our blind spot video, which is what I'm going to start doing now. First of all, I will be moving away from YouTube by December, and I'm getting myself organized to put my videos up on a Rumble at the moment. I think I will try Truth Social. They don't have categories for this sort of video. I'll try Truth Social and I'll try Rumble, and I'm going back to having a website, which I used to have for my business years ago, and I'm going to have a website and see how I can work that, what they offer me nowadays in the way of having videos available. And I will at some point probably offer a Patreon position, just a cheap little thing which is like a gated community. I think of it that way. I know a lot of people have Patreon shops, I guess you call them a shop, I suppose, where you pay a subscription and you get to watch and have stuff that's privately presented like a gated community. Now, I like the idea of that. I'm not sure how much I can put on there storage wise, in the way of how much content I can store on there. So the good thing about YouTube has been that I've had a library. I can put my library up, and those messages are relevant to people at all different stages of their life. They're not just relevant in the week I put them out. And some of them, they're absolute gems. The channelings, they're just gems of precious information that's come through. And I don't really want to lose that ability for people to find that channeled message and the information that comes through. And even when I do my readings, I am channeling, communing with my higher self and my unity field with all the guides. And there's a lot of guides come in sometimes, and what comes through is all fresh entry information from the higher densities into the third density. A lot of the time that's what's coming through when I'm yakety opening my mouth and talkity. That's what's going on. I never ever know what's going to come. I never have a plan. I never have a script. I never know where our conversation will take us. Now, I know here today my lighting is a bit odd and I'm looking a little bit dim with so much light behind me, but it's just natural light, and we're filming from a room that has a lot of sunlight coming in on it, and it's either I do it now or I might not get to do it later. So I'm doing this now, and we're taking the natural environment as it is, and I haven't created a studio set up with all spending money on different lightings and all these different backdrops and things, because I'm moving and this is not permanent and I can't invest like that. The important thing is what you're getting through the messages. The important thing is if there's something good for you. The organic nature of my videos is the organic nature of my videos. Anybody who thinks I should be more professional and flash, anyone who thinks I should be putting on false eyelashes and heaps of makeup and try to make myself look like I'm 30 when I'm not, I'm closer to 60, is living in the world of AI false creation. And I'm saying that because it comes up a lot. Like I think about the way I present myself, and when I first started videos, I know I'm having a ramble here, but I have to because I'm changing things. There is a change coming, right? And I need to say these things because they're important to say. When I first started my videos back in 2018, I first started doing tarot and oracle readings, and I did enjoy it. I had a lot of fun. I dressed up. I had a nice little room, which was my office, which was a nice studio room in the house I was in. And I put makeup on, which I love. I love putting makeup on. It's fun. And there will be times when I do put makeup on because it's fun, because I'm an arty-farty person and I like colour and it's fun. But at the moment, I am not there. That's not where I am. And I'm giving you me organically as I am. And no, I'm not a young 30-year-old all sexy and spunky. I am a mature woman who's had 5 children and has had a long, hardish kind of a life. And that's why you're getting the stuff you get from me. You don't get what you get from me from a 30-year-old who's too busy going to the gym to, or not, I shouldn't say it that way. There's nothing wrong with going to the gym. It's fabulous if it suits you, of course. But the point is, if you spend more time worrying about how you look and you start to feel less than because you're not looking perfect or competitively looking glamorous and beautiful, then the AI has got you. The AI has defeated your self-esteem already. It has started to shape you to conform to its format of don't be authentic. Authentic is what it's ironing out of people. It's ironing the wrinkles out of everyone and turning you into a uniform product. That is a problem. You won't get that from me. In fact, I'm being rebellious and I'm not putting makeup on just because, right? Because I'm like, nah, no way. Anyone who falls for you got to have false eyelashes and lots of makeup to hide the fact that you're however you look, young or old, is already been manipulated. And I'm such a maverick. I'm like, nah. So that's where I'm at. That's why you're going to get the raw me, right? And you're only going to get what I give you. And I'm not going to try to whack out a video routinely every so many days, routinely every week, because I'm going to work according to my slave master's regime that it sets me. Mr. Google, Mr. AI, right? The people who work for the AI. No, I can't, I'm not, because what you're getting is organic and real. And when it comes, it comes. And then I'm afraid you just got to look for it, right? If you want it, you got to look for it. You don't have to if you don't want it. That's up to you, isn't it? That's up to you to do the search. So to search for what you want when you feel you want it. Okay, so that's what I'm offering, and I'm offering it because I'm real. I'm not an AI construct, and I'm not fitting into the AI pro forma matrix template, which is fake. So putting videos out at all is a participation in that a little bit, and it gets your videos, your images, your voice, and it does a psychological assessment of you. And all AI processes do that at the moment. They're learning how to manage the human population, the human being. And when we feed into this complex of technology that is currently functioning on the planet, we have to realize that that's a part of the environment that we've entered into. That's one of the reasons why I am a little bit of me loath to make videos and publish them, because I know and can feel the nature of the construct of it. And it's the reason why my videos only get a small amount of views and they don't get presented very much to the outer world, because I don't meet the requirement of the mission of the AI that makes these Google, YouTube channels and all the rest of it, and Facebook and Instagram and all that. They have a mission, they have a brief, they have a programming of what they're trying to achieve, and they put forward what suits their agenda, which makes you think about what gets viral. When it goes viral, consider what it's really, how it's making you feel, and the message you're getting very carefully, because if it's going viral, it's been allowed to. There's nothing organic anymore in YouTube. So there's my little understanding for you of where I'm going. So in Australia, we are going to have a digital ID lockdown attempt start in December, and they're trying to lock down free speech and put us all into the digital ID process to be like China. Our government loves China and wants to emulate China and its processes of communism. So we are in a process of yay or nay, do we consent? So the thing about AI is, will you sign on? It's offering you this. So when anywhere in the Western world, and not just the Western world, it'll happen everywhere that there's digital access, you have to decide, am I going to sign on to the AI world, the AI pro forma world, where I have to be less than I am and less than I could be and less than I would be, right? So you've got to choose that, because it wants you to be what it wants relating to the world through its complex of mechanisms and rationale. Yes, the AI we have now is created by humans who are misguided as humans. Now, I have to add this in because I know this is the truth. All AI in the universe is not bad. Having AI help you is not bad. What we have now is a bad egg version, right? That doesn't mean AI is bad. And what will come in the future is an AI that's clean. This AI has been constructed by beings who have misguided attitudes and ideas. They are not thinking straight, right? They are not in the clarity of humanness. They are in the anti-human state of being, an anti-human phase of degeneration. Isn't that interesting? That's channeling coming through. So that's where they're at, and they created it when they had backing from other Star Nation species that were also under the complete control of an AI, a larger AI. They established and seeded these people to emulate the functions on the Earth. Now, those star beings, those Star Nations that did that, there's not a lot, there's just a few, they are no longer able to support the structure, the construct they started on the planet. So this has turned into a informational chat. I'll do the reading side. Might have to do it as a separate. I don't know. We'll do a bit. Okay. So, but they wanted to talk about this, so we're doing it, right? As I said, it's organic. So the AI has these other races that they employ and control through nanotechnology. You got to watch out for that nanotechnology, right? It's a kind of you give over your brain and your ability to connect to your higher self from getting that stuff in you, right? I'm not swearing at all. I do end up swearing a lot now because I've just become this hard-nosed person. You wouldn't know, would you? Anyway, I'm not. I'm being good. But the point is, it keeps coming in my head, that's why. Tough words, right? Tough words. But I'm trying not to use them on this video. And I'm trying not to use them at all because I don't want to be transformed into a hard person. I want to stay soft and lovely because I like it. Feels nice. So the point is, the AI has those beings, or they're having a hard time at the moment because they're getting sort of clamped down on in the universe, in our galaxy. They had them set up the construct, the situation here, in order to try to apply it over a great length of time. And now this is the part where they apply and they play out what they can. And this is getting to the point where it's all scheduled. So I need to say that according to their plans, they have done everything that they were going to do so far, and they have more that they plan to do. They haven't been stopped from doing it, of what they want to do in their own actions. They have done it, and they're still doing, right? In Australia, we see it play out very clearly in our the government and the bureaucrats who are running the show. No matter what we vote for, it doesn't matter. The same people get in. So the whole thing is a construct, right? But it isn't quite working the way that they thought it would. They are doing what they wanted to do, but the results aren't exactly what they planned to get. So they're doing what they want to do, they're achieving their goals to do it, but the result isn't happening. So they may have tried to jabby jab everybody in the whole world, but it didn't quite happen. They did everything they wanted to do the way they planned to do it, but the other random factors, the maverick section, the uncontrollable, what they would class as rogue section of the scenario, that's the people, didn't fit into the plan, didn't fit the psychological profiling. So that doesn't work. So they run everything on psychological profiling, and it only works for people who are unable to step away from the device. If you can't step away from the device and you're addicted, hooked onto it, which we do get hooked onto the dialogue that we receive through looking at, yes, even the freedom speech places like X, Facebook, YouTube, and any of these, if you get hooked on looking for conversation and dialogue from there, then you are being hooked into listening to an electronic, computer-generated program of service, which is in one form or another open to an AI interaction. So even when you hear the freedom speech stuff, which is not false, you're still being interacted with by a digital world device and possibly AI of some form or another. Now, bearing that in mind, not all AI interaction is going to harm you, but you do need to be aware of the game you're playing and what you're playing with, right? So that's a part of what we're dealing with now. It's the big unfolding we're dealing with now, is the attempt to digitally lock you down and have thought police. And it is true, if you can't say it, if you're not allowed to express it, they do start to block your mental inner expression, and that's what they're trying to do. So how to express what you feel and what you believe is the game. So you need to express, guys are saying you need to express what you really think and feel. If you have to do it through art, do it through art. If you do it through gardening, do it through gardening. If you do it through abstract talking, like people do now on YouTube, they are very careful how they say things. They start to create a new code language for things because the AI understands English and it will prohibit your expression through the words you use. So these are the ways you do need to continue to evolve your ability to express, and you are beyond AI and computers and digital worlds. You are beyond frequency manipulation. You are a frequency master. The guides are saying you are the master of frequency, and if you close your eyes and deny the frequency effect on you, you are open to let anything do anything to you. But if you don't close your eyes and you do accept the fact that you are able to control the frequency you emit and the frequencies that come to you, you can reject and recalibrate yourself to your frequency of choice. If you do that, if you start to practice that, if you start to believe in yourself, then you are now taking control of the frequency world, which is an AI-controlled world of manipulation. Frequency. Everything is frequency. Color is frequency. All light. When you look at the stars, you're looking at a range of frequencies that are within the visible light range. Everything is frequency. So we need you to understand the nature of your being and where your power lies and how you have freedom of choice, even if triggers are laid within you to be disturbed in your mind and your emotions. Even if triggers are laid within you to feel fatigue physically, even if triggers are laid within you to have your cells not, your mitochondria not work very well, for example. Even if you have already been contaminated with heavy metals and nanoparticles. It is a kind of microchipping type situation in which they've put stuff in you that they can interact with. But only if you are not interacting already yourself. Your awareness of those heavy metals, which are electrical conductors, and you are in a water body, which is an electrical conductor, right? So if you have nanoparticles, which are made of electrically conductive material. All of that means that someone could send a frequency communication to the metallic objects that are put into you, which may then resonate through the waters of your body. And this means you are now an antenna receiving, influencing energy. That's what's happening to you right now. If you can receive this communication via YouTube, you are being communicated with via energy. And it will continue for some time because they have not finished their program. But you, the soul, the resonant occupant of the body, the higher level density being who is now emanated into a 3D body, are also able to work with energy, are also able to emit frequency, and are also able to change the channel, like changing the channel on the radio or the TV. You have to do that, become a self-owning person. You must own yourself. You must understand you are a living man or woman. You are not a bunch of molecules. You are a living man and woman because you, your soul, is in charge of this vehicle. You can change frequency. How do you change frequency? You do it all the time. When you feel a mood shift, your frequency change. That's your mood. When you are in a situation where you need to draw in some maturity so you can talk to people who are feeling unsettled, you just change your frequency, and your frequency is helping them to calm down. You see how it works? When you bring love and care into the room, you just change the frequency of the entire room. You have the power to do that. No AI has the power to do that. No digitally constructed world has that. It's void, a void of perception, it's a void of suggestion. It's not a real world. So even though you see videos of people like you're seeing me now, very few people will probably get my message because it doesn't support the paradigm of the AI construct. So that's okay. You're getting it because you're already in that small group that gets my videos. I will be moving to another platform just because I don't know what the future holds. I really haven't got any idea how it unfolds in this ever-shifting, shape-shifting digital world we're in at the moment. But I do know that YouTube has not been the right place for me and my messages because it doesn't want them there and it blocks them. When I first started my channeling and my doing cards and things, as we're back in 2018, my videos the first videos got out, and before I knew it, I had 400 views, like just for a regular old tarot reading. I can't get that kind of views now because that was probably before, I don't know if it was before Google bought YouTube. Now YouTube is far more constrained. It's got a harness and reins on it, and it's completely muffled. So it's a different place now, and I understand that. So the guides and I, we would like to be able to present and offer support to people, so we're going to try and find ways to make that work. That's what we're doing. I will be bringing forward some publications at some point, and it's the same as with this whole business of the digital media over YouTube and all of that, that I know that the ever-shifting state of affairs has not had me rushing to try and publish something and put it out there in a raging hurry, because it doesn't seem to be quite stable and settled yet. And it's about working out the best way to do that isn't just feeding into a constructed world, matrix world that isn't real. Because when you do that, you're completely vetted and edited anyway. So it's It's not my world. My world's real. My world's solid. My world's a real world, and I want to work into that real world. The important message here is to work into the real world. That's the message, right? Don't get completely caught up in the digital world like it's the real world. Like you can't communicate with anybody if you're not in that world. It may be time to go backward a little, back into real books, real magazines, real papers, real things, right? Not something that is lost in an instant. If the satellites get knocked out by the sun, which has a real potential to do so, it won't make any difference. Everything you put onto YouTube is stored into a great big mega complex of computers. And what if they all got fried by the sun? It's all gone. It's all gone as if it was never there. Your messages are gone. Your sharing's gone. So I'm very aware of that, right? So in order to be real, you need to be more. I'm thinking of the Nag Hammadi, the ancient texts that were found, ancient books that were found in a cave in Afghanistan, I think. Don't quote me on that. I don't try to remember stuff like that. Or Egypt, maybe. Doesn't matter. It was in the Middle East, and they were found, right? They were books that were written on. They were the books of the time that were very popular, spiritual teachings. And I am shuffling now. And whoa, okay. They were books that were written on the traditional parchment, which is very finely beaten and treated calf hide. Excuse me, my card's already gone out, right? So we are doing the blind spot reading, but I had to talk through that little talk because it is about my progress moving forward, and I have a very small audience, which is absolutely fabulous to me. I mean, if I was just putting my shingle out to do readings for people and one person came a week, you know, you're more than one, and I hope it's helpful, and that's fabulous. As far as I'm concerned, whoever will come will come. And it's about who's ready, and some people aren't there yet. They need to go through the pain of waking up. Okay, so I am going to start doing the blind spot, which I've never done before. Now, I know I'm doing a big talk, but it's a big changing time for us, right? The blind spot oracle cards I bought back in 2019, I think, right? So I've never used them ever, right? And they're like brand new. I got them out and I had to loosen them up and get them flexing and everything to use them because I've never used them ever. I've carried them with me and it's brand spanking new. Here's the box, right? They're really unusual, and I just didn't use them. So today we're going to have an experiment with them. Now, when I use them, this is the sort of deck where you draw a card and you look it up in the book. Right? It's maybe if I do it a lot, if I go in that direction, I might learn to know more about these sigils. I'm going to tell you the background of this deck, right? It's going to be a long video, this one. The blind spot oracle was made by a lady called Teal Swan, and she channeled all these sigils, these symbols, and with them comes a message. Now, the blind spot card deck is about what you can't see in your situation. That's what it's about. I think it's fascinating and interesting. I am interested in what she did. I'm not really a big fan of symbols. I don't class these as magic symbols. I class them as, it could be, and there is in it, some sacred geometry. Now, it's a sacred geometry as in the Egyptian form of sacred geometry, which is not just your different shaped solids as we think of, tetrahedrons and so on. This is a different form of geometry, which is how the energy flows to be positive for you. So positive flowing energy goes in all over the place energy patterns. You can think of it, I don't know if any of you have seen the CERN, the images of the CERN readouts of what particles do when they're hit with energy, and they just go in all these wonderful, beautiful, pretty shapes. And that is the energy flowing where the energy can to be flowing, not blocked. So sacred geometry actually goes into that kind of level of depth. Anyway, in a symbol for the organs of the body will look like this unusual little doodle, and it's actually sacred geometry for that. So it's an Egyptian man who was has discovered, rebought it through into this time, and I've forgotten his name, but you can look it up anyway. It's very interesting. Or I might do, if you want to know about it, I will find the information for you if you ask in the comments, right? If you're interested in that whole field, which is amazing all by itself. I won't go into it. Okay, so I shared that with you right now. We just got a card came out while I was shuffling, number 34. I like the lighting the way it is because you can actually see the cards. Sometimes you can't see the cards very well because it's the light's shining on the card and it sort of blurs it out. We're going to take 2. So the guides and angels are in charge of this whole process, and they're using these cards to help us understand different ways of looking in the conversation we're having. So we're all having conversation. So, oh my gosh, we've got all these, right? So we've got 34, we've got 37, right? We've got 9. It looks reversed to me. I hope it's not coming reversed to you. And we've got 6. And we've got 19. Right? So let me know what you think about all of this at the end. I haven't used it before, but I'm using it now, and we're going to see how we go. And the guide said they can use just about anything to help to as props to facilitate their messages, but these have points of view and ideas and messages around them. Let's find out what they have. So I really am on this adventure with you for the first time. 34, right? Let's read what 34 says. Okay. Running away from emotion. Okay. If you have drawn this sigil, you are currently running away from emotion. What you do not see is that an important personal truth is underneath the emotion you are trying to run away from. Chances are that, as a child, you were not allowed to have certain emotions or to see them as valid. They weren't tolerated or treated as if they exist. This means that every time you feel a negative emotion, sorry, I'm looking down, trying to get through it, okay? If I spend too much time taking pauses, we'll never get through this sort of thing. So this means that every time you feel a negative emotion, you're going to respond to it the way you've been conditioned to respond to it. You are going to deny, reject, and disown it. You're going to try to deny it away and shut it up because you believe it shouldn't exist. That was in italics, that bit. You are also going to do the same thing to others, people's emotions, because when other people feel certain emotions, it causes you to feel emotions. Wow. When other people feel certain emotions, it causes you to feel emotions. Now, what the guides want to say here is that what they're doing is they're talking about the social construct we are functioning in. They're not saying this is you're doing all of this. This isn't all you. This is the conversation contributing to the situation we're dealing with, which is what I've just been talking about, what we have to deal with, right? So that is kind of deep, isn't it? Okay. What is that? If we reject our own emotions, this means we don't want anyone else to feel what we refuse to feel. And we don't want their emotions to make us feel a way we didn't want to. You need to get into the practice of doing the exact opposite. Turn toward your emotions instead of away from them. That's amazing. So that's a really good description of what goes on the internet and how it is self-filtered. People are self-filtering when they're putting on this smiley face, making themselves look gorgeous, and all these selfies of I'm perfect and all of that, totally hiding their emotions and putting on a presentation. And it sterilizes the internet and turns it into a non-human emotion zone, unless people are abusing each other, it seems. Okay, no one overreacts, including you. There has never been a person who has ever overreacted. People react exactly in accordance with the reality that they alone perceive. That's interesting. So they're saying if you feel a big response to something which is making you feel a lot, you're not overreacting and you don't have to lock it down. What they're saying is you are allowed to feel the way you feel, and your feeling anything isn't an overreaction. On the internet, people talk about the most atrocious and horrible things happening in the world, and they do it with a glazed over face, with self-control, and they don't get emotional at all, and they don't show their feelings, and that is them conforming to the AI denial of emotion. And the social construct that we are all playing into when we get on the internet feeds right into that, and we start to police ourselves and we start to do it ourselves. And all it had to do was say, I'd like you to work in this construct, and then people go, okay, and they start policing it. They start making it so, and they start telling everybody else they're overreacting when they have feelings. And that is how humans are easily trained to create the reality in the paradigm. The AI doesn't create the paradigm. The AI offers it to you consistently until you end up going, that must be it. And people do it. So we are the engine that drives the paradigm. It's like the Matrix, the movie. The energy and the whole world of that they live in under the machines is run and fed and kept in line and powered by the humans. And it's the same here. We are the powerhouse, the power horse, they said, the power horse. So we are horses being reined in, directed, and we are the power that makes it happen. Fascinating. Okay. And our perspectives and realities are not the same. For example, there is a perception that a person who is dramatic or who is a drama queen is either overreacting or is acting for the sake of attention, much like a performer on stage. If this is the case, and they are overacting for the sake of attention, they are in a state of extreme conflict because deep down they feel desperate for attention, unseen, unheard, and unloved. And that is an aspect of the internet as well, isn't it? The world we're living in, where people if you start a YouTube channel, people first of all think you're at attention seeking and you're like being overt in trying to just get attention. And some people, they just want to start a channel and they look for any niche they can get their channel going, and they want to be on there. Some people are doing it because they think that's where the economy is, the money and an income is there, and that's true. For some people, and some people are doing it because it makes them feel validated and they feel isolated from the world, and it's the only way they can get some positive assertion of who they are, which is what attention seeking is about, right? Okay. And the guides are saying, and that is the case with your politicians. All politicians are in that state of being. Most of them, not all of them, they said. There's a few that actually don't enjoy the experience of attention because it's usually negative, but they are fighting the good fight. That's their viewpoint, right? Okay. They said those people are geared to do it. They were born with the attitude and the energy to do it. And they're reminding me of Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon had a really hard time. She was the forerunner of speaking out spiritually and speaking against the paradigm of it's all in your head, you're just, psychologically unbalanced. She, for anything that isn't mainstream and fitting into an academic explanation without any soul or spiritual aspects attached to it. And when you got spiritual, you were nuts as far as the mainstream world is concerned, the academic world, the medical world, right? Dolores Cannon was attacked savagely, and she was born with the strength of a Trojan. She was born with the headstrong determination to bring it through, and she was a very strong person. And there are some people, and I'm thinking of somebody here in Australia, she's called Pauline Hanson. She's like that too. She is just born with the fight. She's here to put the fight up and to stay in it and to stay strong. And they even put her in prison and did all sorts of things, a lot of political warfare going on with her, and she's still there. And she's like Dolores Cannon in a way. So those people are there. They're not attention seekers. They're just mavericks, right? Okay. Deep down later. Okay, so this goes on, but that's where we're at with that card. I'm not going to go on any further. We got the gist, right? 37. I hope you like this. I will make it shorter in future because I had to have my little speech about I'm moving away from YouTube in December. I forgot, maybe, I don't know if I said. I will let you know where I'm going, okay? Okay, and I'll give you the name of where I'm going, okay? And the links, I'll give you links to it. I'll start to put links down. Just takes a bit of work to set up everything, and it's a new process of uploading videos, which is different and longer, and then with YouTube's been easier. 37, let's have a quick look at 37. Wishing and willing harm. Okay, that's what this is called, 37. All right. Let me know if looking at those sigils, please, if looking at those sigils stirs any reaction in you. I'd be very interested to know, please. Good or bad. You don't have to make it positive. If it isn't, it isn't, okay? Okay, if you have drawn this sigil, you are most likely totally unaware that you are wishing harm on others and or directly and indirectly trying to punish them. It is natural when we have been hurt or want to hurt others. What we are actually doing when we wish harm on someone is attempting to force them into a state of empathy. Isn't that interesting? That's an interesting thought, isn't it? Even if it seems as though we are trying to push them away, we're actually trying to bring them closer. Wow, that's really deep, isn't it? We just want to wake them up. It's like a tough love type thing by the sound of it. Compassion naturally arises as a result of relating to someone's suffering. All we must do in order to feel compassion and know what action to take is to relate to others' pain. So I wonder, do you think that the nature of the internet is a reflection of what we just read then about people are punishing each other all over the internet, and there's all this good guy, bad guy stuff, and there's all this conflict and all this you thing. And I wonder if that is a reflection of that. And the guides are saying, yes, that's what's happening on the internet. So they wanted to say to me earlier, they said to me earlier today that everything that happens, not to be afraid of all the challenges, not to be afraid of what the other side does, as in the AI sponsored people. Don't be afraid or challenged by it in a way that you feel defeated, because every move, and they've said this to me in the past, every action you take is a double-sided sword. Every action has two potentials, everything. That's the nature of our world, and that's the beauty of our world. Every action has two potentials. It's going to be an ongoing theme from now on that the guides want to bring forward, always. So the other side of our opposition, so to speak, they have made themselves opposition, and they have done everything they wanted to do, that they planned to do, and the planning has been 60, 70 years in the making, step by step by step. They have done everything they were supposed to do, and yet the result was not everything they thought it would be or wanted or were hoping for, because every action has two potentials in a response or result or reaction. Every action has two potential reactions, and they can't control the total field. There is the field of existence, the field of the universe, the field of the third density. They can't control all the factors within it. they can only control an attempt at something. And it hasn't fully worked the way they want it. It has to some extent, but not fully. And there's still variables that are wild cards out here in the world, on the digital platforms as well as here in the physical world. There's wild cards they have not yet been able to and will never be able to influence. They want to try and create their utopia world of communism, basically. Fascist communism, whatever you want to call it, dictatorship, ownership. They want to create that, and they had only what they previously knew as factors to deal with. The problem for them is that factors change, that things evolve. The light from the sun has changed and evolved. The solar system is in a new location, which is a different atmosphere, and the consciousness of the universe has a different will to what they want and is now on its own agenda. They can't overwhelm the consciousness of the universe and its agenda. That's their problem. So they're always going to have a problem, and they're not going to succeed because the consciousness of the universe is bigger than them, right? So they wanted me to say that to you, right? Every action has two potentials, and it's not a one-way street. Okay, interesting. I'm going to read the next bit, then we'll move on to the next card, right? Compassion naturally arises as a result of relating to someone's suffering. All we must do in order to feel compassion and know what action to take is to relate to their pain. If we are trying to force people into this state in order to become connected to them instead of separate, which is what we feel when someone causes us pain. So what this means is that as we've gone through the many millennia of lives that we've gone through, we have been conditioned through great pain. And the guides have said before, the construct of attempting to create this result they're pushing for in the near future started like 6,500 years ago. It started. So this is for them it's a long-term plan. For us, it's not very long for them. Some beings are in a different time space and they live different timelines of lives. So it's not that long for them. It seems like a lot for us, but our lives were cut short so we would continually be reborn and forget and be reborn and forget. And that's one of the mechanisms they've used to try and condition us into suffering life and pain and relating to the world through pain and believing the life is pain and believing we are blocked in every way. The only blockage we had to make us feel completely like that was when our crown chakras were blocked and our heart was blocked. Your heart has to be open for you to connect to the universal great mother and your higher self and everybody else. Your heart is actually the center and the balance point and the main chakra, not the crown. The crown is not the main chakra. It is the heart. And so that was blocked by pain and withdrawal, like a snail pulling into its shell. And through that, we felt the world was suffering. And so we relate to others through suffering because we learnt it. It's been schooled in us, right? Okay. We punish in order to establish a sense of control in a situation where we feel out of control. So the punishment side is coming into form because you have the bad actors, so to speak, and we are now going to reach for punishment in order to relate to them. And if we suffer, we need to see them suffer so we can be in the unity field. Wasn't that a fascinating thing? Okay, moving on, right? Number 9. Card number 9. I don't normally like to use cards that I have to read from a book because it's not very flowing and it seems like a drag. But we're doing it because I'm open to try something new. Number 9, right? Coping, it's called. If you have drawn this sigil, you are currently coping. You are coping in a situation where you need to do something other than to cope. To cope is to make a specific alteration mentally. Oh my gosh, that's what we do, isn't it? That's what we've been asked to do. That is what the AI world, the master's world, is asking us to do. Cope. They keep putting stresses on us and obstacles to make us change in order to cope, not to flourish as we would like to be, but to put that aside, dampen it down, and reach for a mechanism of coping rather than shining and flourishing, right? To cope is to make a specific alteration mentally, emotionally, and physically so that you can manage or adapt to something that is causing you stress. They beat you into submission. That's what I just described over our millennia of lives, right? A coping mechanism is a specific procedure, a process or technique which manages or allows you to adapt to stress. The coping mechanism is taught to us through the schools, through universities, and through the social media platforms. And it is taught in a subversive manner. Some examples of coping mechanisms are addictive behavior like cutting, binge eating, smoking, gambling, denial, humor, attacking, regression, overcompensation, humility, self-blaming, avoidance, disassociation, positive focus, escaping into movies, books, or imagination, intellectualization. That's a bad one that people do. That one really messes them up. Distancing, disconnecting, falling asleep, passive aggressiveness, projection, repression, and substitution. Stress is serious business. Stress is serious business, and the powers that would like to be are in the business of applying stress. Now, this comes down to the world we're in now. We have protests worldwide about a particular war in a Middle Eastern location where there is the seemingly all-powerful small country attacking the small province that's attached to it, next to it, and hurting the people there who have also gone through massive amounts of stress reformation to become basically a society of rebels. Sorry about the dog. A society of, she's outside. They are in a society of suffering indoctrinated into them, and they have to blame someone. Suffering, blame, and cult-like behavior. It's cult behavior. And those people are totally broken now into it. And it's being done by the people that are manipulating them, and it's also being done by the small country that is supposedly causing the harm, but of course they're not the ones causing the harm. They are the acting tool. They are causing harm, the government, not the people, the government. They are the tool of suppression and conflict, but the people who are managing this small province are also tools of suppression and management, and they've created the situation to create a worldwide movement, which is happening in all capital cities all over the world, where people are feeling that they have to be in conflict with the government of that country, which is totally unrelated, and the people of that nation, which has got nothing to do with it, and they want to bring the war into that. And this has been the entrainment of the distress of coping. Now, this has been a long-term stress that is being built up and picked time after time, right? And through the stress of being emotionally triggered by wars and feeling that stress of having to cope with it and change yourself from being peaceful and a placid person into an aggressive fighting person, through that process, they have gone generation after generation after generation. So it's ingrained in your DNA. It's not ingrained. Your DNA can be fixed and healed and changed. It's fluid, but it is there, written there until you change it. That's interesting. Isn't that interesting? Okay. I don't think I need to go anymore. Okay. I'll say this. A human being cannot thrive in an atmosphere of stress. When a human being goes into a state of distress, well-being immediately declines. And so it is only natural that we should want to make a change to the situation as quickly as possible. Now, that is true of the entire world right now. Stress is placed on everyone, okay? So we could go on and on about how that is done, but it is all a construct of forcing everyone to let go of their happiness and their humanness and become combative beings. Number 6, I really, personally, talking about the sigils and how you respond to it, right? I don't like that sigil at all. Letting you know, I don't like it. It feels ewy. So I probably the reason I haven't used this deck before is because I'm not a big fan of magic sigils. I'll tell you that, I don't like witches, and they're real, and I despise witches. I despise dark magic, and I know that in my past lives, I have had to come up against that shit. I swear it now. They're disgusting. They're just terrible. So I am, now, my partner has said, oh, you're a white witch. I'm not a fucking white witch. I am not a white witch. I will not be a witch. I do not do that stuff. I know the difference, and I don't cross the line because I am such an old soul, been through so many lives, and I know it and I see it clearly. And I'm like, you don't go there. There's things you just don't do because it is the path to doom and gloom. It is the path to backward, going back and not evolving. If you want to ascend, if a person wants to ascend, you don't go into that stuff. Okay, I'm going to swear a little bit, right? You don't go into that shit, right? Because that is the undoing of you, and it sabotages you, and you go backward. And it'll take so long for you to get free if you go into that. You just can't, right? And it's not a thing, right? You don't do it. So, and I've had witches come after me. I have had them come after me when I started my channel. Actually, before that, when I first started in 2013, I had my first channeling of Archangel Uriel. Came through in the middle of a meditation group with all these other ladies. Suddenly I was filled with love, and Archangel Uriel came through, and I started channeling through all this business about love to the lady next to me who didn't want to hear it, and she looked at me like I was nuts and went to the lady who was running and said, what's going on with that lady? And they all thought like, oh, she's nuts, because I was the only one who was actually really in touch with angels, and they're talking all about angels, but none of them were in touch with them because they were all too low vibrational, hanging on to negative stuff. The lady running that meditation group was a witch from many lifetimes, and it turned out our history was that she had come up against me and persecuted me and tried to really, hunt me down. So she and I had some history from past lives. She was such a witch in so many lives that she was using witchcraft in this life, and I don't even know that she was aware she was using it to manipulate and control people. And she even loved things like, she considered her spirit animal was a spider because she wanted to create a spider web, and she was very negative and hard on anyone who got in her way or didn't make her the center of attention. So she was really dark, but she didn't. I think she thought she was working out of the book of The Secret. You know the book The Secret? It was her little Bible. And she thought she was just doing The Secret. The Secret can enable you to do anything. Because it didn't work out that well. And she did try to get me to do a painting for her that she would then just take and have, because she thought she could manipulate anybody to do anything that she wanted. And she came up against me, and it sort of backfired, and she got the shits. Sorry, swearing a bit today, but that's all right. I'm sure you can handle a little bit. And she was really forever like, why couldn't I make that work for me? That's because she came up against me. And she's come up against me in the past, and this is a multi-life battle we had, and I won this one. She lost it. Because the light, I'm in the light, because the galaxy's in the light, because there's light here. When she was managing all that power as a witch in her past lives, She was in a much darker part of the universe, less light saturation, and she now struggles to find her power because she only found power in dark to overpower others, and in the light, she can't make it work. She can't muster enough dark. Pretty soon, there'll be so much light that there will be no shadow under any rock. My guides tell me there will be nowhere to hide, no shadow under any rock for anyone who wants to rest in the dark. If you want to talk in the third density version of good and bad, light and dark, it's a representation, right? Shadows aren't bad. If you want to go into a cool shadow and have a rest, it's beautiful. We're not talking that, we're talking analogy here. Now, that's what, I mean, I absolutely know that. I've had other witches come and attack me multiple times, and I have dealt with it, but I will give you this one tip. You get your really nice crystals. Now, I forgot the name of the one that I used in the night when I was attacked one night. And I had to use a crystal over my heart to protect me because my heart was attacked by these horrible things which came in the night, and they made this horrible like, shh sort of noise. Like, it was just horrible noise. I heard them coming, and they attacked my heart, and I grabbed the crystal off my bedside table and I put it over my heart, and that stopped them. Crystals are powerful protections over your heart, right? You need a good crystal over your heart. Just sharing, that's just a little bit of my life experience. I've had a lot of life experience dealing with the dark, and when I tell you, be careful who you talk to, I'm not kidding, right? Not because someone else said it, I've really lived this stuff, right? And I've had to work my way through and understand what's happening and align and like, how did this come into my life? It came into my life so I'd have some real experience to work with and knowledge of and understand the nature of the world. I do understand that, but anyway, just sharing that with you. So there you go. I don't know how we ended up with that, but we did, and it needed to be told, and I'm sharing that with you, right? Now, okay, the guides want to say this. The people who want to be the ones running this utopia of suppression that they're trying to build, they're all witches. That's what they're saying. They all use this shit. They all do this stuff. They all use they're all spiritual. They all believe in the spiritual world. They all believe in demons and stuff like that. You know, bad spiritual things that are easy to use in negative ways. Let's call them that, right? They all practice shit like that. They're all in it. And there are different levels. There are the ones at the top, wholly, fully trying to wield that magic. I know magic is a real thing, but it's not everything, right? It's not overwhelming. I mean, I managed to protect myself from, which is, mind you, one time I had to have spiritual help, and I have had spiritual help to do it, and I was absolutely rescued from an attack by a spiritual being. I won't go into that now, but the point is, you got to have your helpers, you got to have your support team around you. But this all started for me when I started to channel and I started to step out and do my videos and come out from my self-imposed hiding from the world state of being. That's when I had to deal with all these things. So it's other stuff has happened too. So where was I at? I've forgotten where I was at now. I don't know now. I've lost it. They do it. There's the top level. They're actively doing it all the time, and then they have their minions. Now, it's not to say every politician is into black magic, right? And every politician is a Satanist, but some of them are, and some of them are just dummies that are muppets, and they just do what they're told to do, and they're in an organisational structure which wants to create this world forum. That group, you know that group, the forum. So they're not all going around doing stuff. They just easily bought, some of them, right? But the people at the top making the decisions, that's where they're at. Okay. The guides want to say that's where they're at because we have to understand it's real and they're doing that stuff. Okay. My dog's just barking because I've locked them out of my bedroom where I am. Okay, now, okay, right. Well, I think that's basically it. That's what they want to say about that. Now, we did number 6. One more left, right? 19. Good on you for hanging in, right, to the conversation that we're having. Next time I use these cards, we'll cut straight to it and we won't have the talk about I'm moving to another platform or getting my website going or doing something else other than being told I have to have a digital ID and sign in with my face analytics or putting my ID uploading every other minute when I hook onto the internet. So that's the beginning of the Chinese version of digital ID enslavement. So I really don't know how it's going to unfold. I don't know how it's going to work or what's going to happen or how successful it will be. I'm just knowing I better just sort of think outside the box for a bit and go with the flow. Okay, number 19, right? That's another weird one, right? Now, what did I say I started talking about that black magic stuff? Is because the sigil thing, right? Feels a bit like that, okay? I'm so like, it's like being hydrophobic, magic phobic. That's where I am, right? I'm like, but I'm giving it a go because sometimes what the guides are saying to me is that with that double-sided blade of life, with the dark is the light. If you see the dark, look at the dark, you can understand the light that is surrounding it and the light that you can choose that's right beside it. That's what they're saying. Don't have an adverse reaction and hide from the dark, which is what I've done most of my life, to be honest, you know. And you can't go into denial and hide from what it is because it stresses you. I've had to have so many lives with dealing with the dark. I'm a little bit like traumatized, I think. So, but it carries forward, but I'm still strong enough to look at it as it presents and got to just put on my big girl boots, right? Okay, 19. And I'll say all that to you because you're probably in some form or another kind of similar in some way, right? That's why they want me to talk like this, right? If you have drawn this sigil, no matter whether or not you are admitting to it or no, I'm going to start that again, right? No matter whether or not you are admitting to it, and no matter even whether or not you are aware of it, you are not committed. Interesting. Commitment is a state of dedication. It can be defined simply in this way. To commit to something is to give your energy to something. So there I was talking about how I spent my life kind of hiding from the dark, playing it safe, flying under the radar, and I have. As a being with a lot of sunlight in light energy, it has protected me until I was adult enough to handle the oncoming dark, which will come to you like a magnet when you come out. And I came out of my safety zone and started to display my potentials, doing readings and things, and the dark came flooding in and lots of things happened. So, and lots of challenges I had to deal with. So commitment is a state of dedication. It can be defined simply in this way. To commit is something is to give it your energy, let me start that again, I keep messing it up. To commit to something is to give your energy to something. It is to put yourself into something. The more committed you are to something, the more of your energy and therefore yourself you put into that thing. And the guys want to say double-sided sword, remember? Double-sided. So if you commit to the AI world fully, wholeheartedly, you put all of your energy into it, and like the Matrix movie, you're fueling it. If you commit to your real physical life and yourself and your chakras lining up and your heart being open and functioning and protect that right, its platform of integrity and self-determination, if you commit to that, that is where your energy goes and that is how the world unfolds. You need to everyone in the world, I'd be so bold as to say, tell everyone what they should do. You need to be standing on the platform of your heart, not putting it aside and making excuses for it and apologizing for it and saying it's of no value so you can fit into an AI world. That's the gist of it. Well, I'm going to leave it at that because we're going to read this a little bit. Ready? Decisions. Decisions are the ultimate fear if you fear commitment in and of yourself. You especially fear making decisions because you feel that by doing so you will lose options. You fear making the wrong decision and being trapped with the potential consequences, especially losses, of that choice. And this is your personal subconscious definition of failure. If you are not committing, it is likely that you have a subconscious commitment to this situation. When it doesn't seem like we are committed, it simply means we are committed to something else. For example, a person may not seem committed to working on something because they may actually be committed to relaxing or committed to escape. We are usually operating according to a subconscious commitment when we say, I'll try, instead of I will. I say that, don't I? I say, I'm going to try and put some videos out. That is really describing I'm not committed to, my clock just was 1 hour, 11 minutes, 11 seconds. I'm not committed, fully sold on, and I haven't been for the last few years, fully sold on YouTube. And that's because YouTube isn't right for me. That's the truth. But I didn't know where else. I do sort of know where else to go, but it doesn't feel right either. But nothing does because my light is not reflected in an AI construct. So there we go. So that kind of describes me, that's for sure. Does it describe you? Are you not committed to some things that the world keeps wanting you to commit to? Okay. This is because for people who are genuinely committed, they own their free will instead of leaving outcomes in the hands of other people or circumstances. For me, that's how I feel with YouTube. That's how I feel that it is. And I just think, well, I don't want to give up myself, my own free will, to fit into the construct and abide by the little box prerequisites of being a YouTube creator. And that's why I haven't fitted. I'm not saying that it was necessarily the only way. I could have found a way to fit and have a less high vibrational message and have some message, which might be better than no message. I don't know. But my guides are saying to me, no, you are going through the process of the hard choices that people don't make. And by doing so, I open up the potential for people to feel free to make those hard choices. So by saying no and not giving in to the desire to be successfully sharing everything in a flowing, beautiful, enjoyable, fun way, by not falling into the bait, taking the bait, I have done the hard thing of staying, well, it actually sucks, even though I really want this result. If I go and do all this complying for YouTube, I'm not going to get that result actually. It's going to be a stress hampered thing where I'm suppressed, and that's not what I really want. So I'm staying true to myself that way. Okay. So down the bottom of all of this, it says, if you have drawn this sigil, the only way to create an improvement in this situation is to become aware of what you are really committed to and to either commit to what needs to be committed to in this situation or to clearly choose not to commit and communicate that to others. You cannot have one foot in and one foot out. That's so funny thing, isn't it? Isn't that what I've just been talking about? Why I'm not committed, right? And why I'm changing my path. And I can't have one foot in and one foot out. You can't be in YouTube and then whinge and grizzle about it and want to be somewhere else, you know. You got to find the path that will actually give you what you want. And by doing that, you're going to make it happen and make that path unfold. If you don't commit to your path, it can't evolve and materialize in front of you and emanate into a reality. If you keep on in limbo, you're never going to have a path unfold in front of you that you've committed to. Your commitment is the energy that powers the unfolding story. Wow, that's about it. That's true. I wonder how this works for you. Please let me know how all of this works for you, this unusual video, this unusual conversation, but it's about topical stuff of the now, and it does it's so relevant in lots of ways. So I know everyone will take different things from it, and some people probably didn't even watch the whole video. Some people probably just said, oh, she's just talking, I'm just going to go, because they're not interested in conversations or hearing about things from other people. They're just interested in a quick hit about messages that are quick hit they can apply quickly. I guess that's where they're at. Okay. Thank you for watching, and thanks for staying to the end if you did. You're brilliant. You're with me. You're my friend. Thank you very much. Little fist pump. That's what we do. The next time I use the blind spot, it'll be about a specific question, and it'll be without all the pre-runner talk about commitment. But gosh, it was all about the commitment, right? It was all about the commitments we make. We ended with it. So it's really all on point, and I'm a part of the, I'm a prop for the conversation of the guides. Okay, look forward to the next one. Thank you so much. Great blessings and love to you from all of the higher density beings that are surrounding us, and they praise you and love you. Okay, bye.